Hello, how are you? Welcome, let's get to the news about what's happening in the world. Get ready, prepare your coffee, get your dinner or your breakfast ready, depending on what time you're watching us. Right now we're live, it's March 9th, 9:14 p.m. For our friends in Spain, it's already March 10th. And how is this month this year going by? Very fast this year. A big greeting to Walter Osorio. To Marink. Yes, big greetings also to Nova's dad, who is Dante Edmundo. To the whole community, go ahead and like, share. Let's get to the information. Today's going to be very interesting. Let's start listening now. Do you remember these strange sounds? There's this strange signal that the Iranians detected, yes, where apparently they're waking up sleeper agents in different parts of the world. That's what this signal is for, a radio signal, by the way.
Like the one from the Russians?
Just like the Russians, but it's really strange. We're about to listen to it. The signal is already here. You guys aren't agents, right? Cover your ears if you're sleeper agents. Hello to the entire OFM and Odolia Bueno community. It's great to see your messages and be here with you all. I hope to meet you in person someday. For now, let's discuss what's happening in the world. Thanks so much for being here. And, well, let's start with this strange sound. Listen to this, okay? According to reports, we won't play the whole thing since we don't want to wake anyone up. I mean, like secretive people, those kinds of things, but the point is that it's been monitored, kind of like in a state. Greetings, hello, very good, it has been monitored. This audio is an audio at what would be 7,842 kilohertz. This first appeared in Germany. Yes, it's on a radio signal that had that signal. And according to what intelligence services report, they use number stations to send coded messages to their field agents. There's no way to accurately trace where that radio signal originates from, so with that, they avoid getting caught, not the ones sending the signal. And that's how it goes, let's say. There are receivers who will be at home, in their office, with some headphones, always listening to the signal. Yes, all the time, and suddenly they say, hey, is there a signal? Let's see, what number is it? Shouldn't number 5 stay home? Are you eating a kilo of eggs? No, it could obviously be something very serious, but obviously we don't know. Because nobody, up until now, or they haven't said anything. No, they don't have a way to code this. What is striking is that this, according to reports, appeared after the death of Ali Khamenei on the 28th. On the same day, February 28th, this signal started to appear, as if suddenly the fact that he lost his life says, okay, then the next phase, the next mission begins. Which one? Well, who knows what it will be. It's believed that agents might be awakening, but also, well, let's see, we don't know, nobody knows. There's no confirmation and I don't think there will be one. Until we see some kind of movement or things that we hope won't happen, but that could obviously happen now. At this moment, it's believed that the son of Ali Khamenei has already lost his life. For days now, well, almost since the day he appeared, nobody knows where he is. It's known that he was injured. It's known that... Actually, the Iranians admitted it on their own state television. But there is intelligence information that suggests there could already be a third Ayatollah prepared, ready, already in office, but they don't want to say it. What do you know exactly?
Well, according to what some intelligence sources suggest, this Mohammed, let's say, was given the title of Supreme Leader, just as a title to hide the real Supreme Leader, who would already be operating for Iran right now. And that's how they protect the real Mohammed. It's been a long time. According to this rumor, he would have lost his life several days ago. But anyway, they give him the title to protect the other one, the real one.
It could be.
It could be a move, well, logical, right?
Well, yes, and especially thinking that, well, supposedly he already left, right? So where is he?
No, he hasn't appeared or made a video. There's a video circulating on social media, but I don't know who released it. But someone who analyzed it says, well, it's a video of the father and they put the son's face with her.
Not even an original video. Well, that's happening is obviously something that's developing. We don't know exactly if that's the case, but what we do know is that the Iranians have sent a message to Donald Trump, and the message is the following. The Iranians say, "We will determine the end of the war. It will last as long as we want it to last." I mean, that's what the Iranians said. The same day that Donald Trump came out and said, "Well, I'm seeing that we've already achieved our objectives. Let's go. We're ready to leave. It's time to start packing our bags." Let's get into the details. There are several issues, starting with this one. But there's a report, a Reuters report. There's a report, well, from different media outlets in the United States and around the world that have been reporting. So let's go. How? Iran's preparation is not to win a war, it's not to go head to head, but the report says they would have been preparing for a war of attrition for a long time. Yes, that's what they prepared for. That's the idea. And look, let's just make a quick parenthesis here to see how things are. This topic is already generating reactions from some countries, and we'll come back to this topic in a moment. I would just like us to listen to this message. Let's listen first, then talk. What's this about? We haven't discussed it yet, but here it is.
The truth is that we can't use our land or our time.
Well, he is. He is the leader, the emir of Kuwait, right? He is the one from Kuwait. And what it says in the translation that they themselves publish, they say, let's see, Kuwait, it says, not only did it not attack Iran, but from Kuwait, they did not allow United States soldiers to operate towards attacks on Iran. I mean, there are soldiers there, but those soldiers are forbidden from carrying out attacks, so they're not attacking. That's why this was surprising for the soldiers. The soldiers who lost their lives were in Kuwait doing other things there, internal matters, nothing to do with the war. In fact, you can see that if you look at them, you realize they're more like office or administrative staff. All the soldiers who are there, well, the ones who lost their lives, but did someone tip them off to attack those guys? Isn't it believed that it was Russia and the attack was launched toward Kuwait, eliminating 6 or even 7? It's 777 right now, isn't it? So what Kuwait is saying is that they're running out of patience. They're running out of patience on this issue, as if saying we haven't attacked so far, but the attacks have continued. And well, up to this point, it's like now they're really, well, angry, obviously. But anyway, go on. And I say this because it has to be related to what we're talking about, going back to this topic, going back to this statement. What are the Iranians saying, or what's happening here?
Well, today the members of the Revolutionary Guard Corps made this comment, and that they are willing, besides contradicting Trump, who today was saying, well, there's not much left, we're about to finish. Although, well, in a moment we'll play a clip of what Trump said at this press conference he held today in Miami. Curiously, they contradict him, saying that they decide when the war ends, and also that they're willing to expand the war. He says, will security be for everyone, or will insecurity be for everyone? I mean, that's quite a strong threat, and it's us who determine the end of this war. And well, these statements came just hours after Trump claimed that it was practically over, said the Revolutionary Guard Corps, the lying president of the United States. To escape the pressure of war and put an end to the despair of the American soldiers in the region, he has falsely proclaimed the end of the power of the armed forces of the Islamic Republic. Now we also know what the Iranians' narrative is. I mean, that's what they live on. I mean, they always exaggerate, and they're always like that. No, they're not. We've already seen what the real strength is. I mean, there is strength. Because that's how it is. The Gulf countries haven't wanted to attack. They've been attacked once, twice, 3 times, basically every day. They've been attacked. They've already been under attack for a week, and they don't do anything, right? Wait. NATO has been attacked 3 times, if we count the one in Cyprus, because the one in Cyprus is still in question. But if it's the one in Cyprus and 2 in Turkey, then that would be 3 times that, at least as far as we know, in 2 of them, NATO's defense system had to respond, and still they do absolutely nothing. NATO just stays back. I mean, they must be seeing something, because, I mean, if it were another country, if it were a different situation, they would probably be responding, but they prefer to do nothing. So there's a Reuters report in which they claim that the
What they have prepared and what they want to carry out is a war that would last several months. They claim that this economic pressure, or the pressure from the Israeli war, can be withstood by the United States. I mean, come on, they have soldiers and ammunition not just for 6 months, but for years. So that's not a problem for them, and they have a big industry. In fact, right now, Germany, France, and the United States are doing very well. They're selling a lot. I mean, the arms business is still a business. That, obviously. But the strategic part, let's say, is not sustainable. And that what the Iranians are basically saying is if you're going to throw us into the pit, then we're going to take as many as we can with us into the pit, basically. So that's the strategy. I mean, they say they can't withstand, they can withstand a war, but they can't withstand a serious economic crisis. And that's the strategy. So are they trying to create enough economic pressure to force Washington to give in? In fact, practically what you see from Washington right now is like an attempt to give in as well. Well, that's what they communicate, but suddenly things aren't necessarily like that. Look, let's listen to this audio from President Trump. Let's hear what he says.
About the strait, you say yes?
The strait.
Well, I want to keep it open. I want to keep it in good condition. You know, it doesn't affect us as much as it affects China. Actually, we're helping China here and other countries because they get a lot of their energy through the strait. But hey, look, we have a good relationship with China. It's an honor for me to do it. Yes.
I mean, now it turns out that this is China's hero. That's good. Yes, an honor. Yes, 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 yes.
Trump
Okay.
nunca pierde, Pepe.
Dice que... Well, because of him it's closing and because of him it's opening. In theory. But anyway, the thing is that the Strait of Hormuz is what I was asking about. And this is also about another topic. Let's listen to it. ¿Ves ese tema? Sí.
Yes, I'm almost sure the whole issue was about Iran.
I know. Well, let's play it, even though it's not about this topic, but it is about Iran. Let's listen to it.
Please go ahead.
Mr. President, you just suggested that Iran somehow got a tomahawk and bombed its own elementary school on the first day of the war. But you are the only person in your government who says this. Not even your Secretary of Defense wanted to say that when asked, standing next to you on your plane on Saturday. Why are you the only person who says this?
Because I simply don't know enough about it. I think it's something I was told is under investigation. But the tomahawks are, as you know, used by many others. Other countries have tomahawks. They buy them from us. But certainly, whatever the outcome of the report, I am willing to accept that report.
I am willing to accept that report. Well, here we are talking about this school where there were, if I'm not mistaken, 89 girls who lost their lives. In, let's say, one on the first day of the war, which was attacked, a base was attacked because, well, no one had evacuated there, right? The first day is always the most dangerous because from the second day on, families take shelter, move away from the risk areas, or even leave altogether. But at that moment, well, nobody knew, right? So a school that's in the... Yes, if we look at the... Well, I don't have the map here, but if we look at the map, basically it's on the same block, the same area. They share a wall with the Revolutionary Guard building. It's just that the missile... This one hits the school directly, so there was no way they could be saved. It didn't hit any of the Revolutionary Guard offices. It hit straight on, and they lost their lives, right? So they've been debating whether it was one or the other. In one of these, Trump was saying or implying that they used a tomahawk, or that someone used a tomahawk, that they've sold a lot of tomahawks. I don't know what, but really, well, he knows that's not the case, that's not how it is, but it does point to the United States. No, that's the thing, we'll see what the report says, but he says he's going to accept it. No, like I said, yes. He hints that that's where things are going, that's what it's about, right? That's the... But anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about. What else is known about this topic?
Well, today there was an interview. There's a cable news network journalist who is literally in Iran. In fact, he is the one who shared these images of the oil rains that happened on Sunday. Well, he managed to interview a person named Kasal Kasani, who is a political advisor in the offices of the Supreme Leader. And well, in this interview, he completely rules out diplomacy. He says that for now, there will be no diplomacy. He said that the war will only end with economic pain and, well, with the government getting tougher. So the more days go by, the fewer chances there are for dialogue. And secondly, they're going to try to hurt the economy as much as possible. We saw it yesterday. They didn't succeed because the E7 came out. The E7 came out. They were saying that maybe they'll use the reserves. I don't know what that's what they were suggesting. Oil prices drop immediately, and then minutes later they attack Bahrain just so they stop production for a moment. I don't know if it's still shut down right now or not, but they're trying to find ways to economically affect European countries and any other countries they can so that they'll put pressure on the United States.
That's the issue. Let's move on to other topics which are also important. Well, something strange is happening in this war. Some very unusual things have been seen. We've seen reports or comments from intelligence people or from people who have experience in other wars. And they say what is happening in Iran is something else. It's different. I mean, of course, there are the typical explosions and all that. But at the same time, weapons are being used, or at least it's believed that weapons are being used, that are different. It's that simple. This is one of them. Earlier today, do you remember, we saw another explosion? I don't know if we have it around here. A very strange explosion in which they also reported, well, I hadn't seen this in any other conflict. Someone with experience in that area said something like that. And this other image here, which is really strange as well, maybe. I don't know. It's just that we don't know what this is about. It's also hard to know because these kinds of things aren't reported. But here's the other image. Look, it's this image. Let me see if I can put it up here. There it is loading. There it is. Look, listen to this one or see those other images. Also in the ones where it doesn't look like a normal explosion, but rather how it looks. How it rises, it keeps rising, and then the brightness stays for a while. In fact, listen to the person who's recording this. He's really surprised. I swear, I mean, no. Who knows what they'll say, but the person making the report says so. The images now look like they're straight out of a movie. I have no idea what they're attacking or how they're doing it, but this is something completely new to me. This person says, well, he's the one making the report. And well, we're experiencing very interesting moments, very intense, very different from other conflicts we've been through. Well, here with you all to observe. No, well, we've seen the conflict with Russia, Iran, and so many others. Ukraine and others. But anyway, another thing that also draws attention is that Donald Trump today claims that the war is practically over. What is he saying? What's going on there? Well,
the statements were made today in an interview with Columbia Broadcasting System where he says that, well, Wall Street recovered very quickly. That the drop in oil prices was basically something that, well, was a small price, that had to be paid. That we already talked about that today and that, well, it had recovered very quickly. No, because yes, at night it was at 115, 116, and it dropped to 90 something in the morning. No, right now I don't know how it is, but he says the war is over, very much so, he says practically. He also indicated that Iran's capabilities have been severely damaged, something he has been repeating in recent days. But we don't see that the Iranians, even though they've reduced their attacks according to the Pentagon, yes, we don't see their self-esteem fading, so to speak.
Well, yes, the operation tries to continue and they try to show strength, but honestly, at that point, well, it's true. I mean, here we're looking at the 500 largest companies in the United States, right? The S&P 500 and what we see here. I mean, this drop they're talking about, or that actually happened from the S&P 500's highest price to where it is now, is a 3% decrease. So let's say that all this conflict, what it has caused for the 500 largest companies in the United States is a 3% drop. And if that's good, it's not much. I mean, actually, if there wasn't a war, it would be the same. I mean, would you see the same thing? Exactly. Because those ups and downs of 2 or 3% aren't really surprising either. Oil did have a spike, right? A huge one. This red dot is the highest price it reached, but just like it got there, look, just like it got there, it went back down, and right now, it's at $90. Yes, it is higher than it was at the beginning, that's a fact. It's still not done dropping. But the fact that gold remains steady without going up or down, it just stays there. At least, well, these what do they call them? Indicators show that it's not, let's say, skyrocketing too much. Well, it shows that there is at least some assurance that things are not getting out of control yet. Right. I mean, because in the end, that's the day-to-day reality for companies. I mean, if they see that things are more or less flowing, obviously they're going to be calm and they're not going to leave. Here, out of all this, the one who has had it the worst is BlackRock, but I think that's because BlackRock wasn't expecting this reaction. They clearly weren't prepared. I mean, it's strange like he thought, because it's a fund. It's like the logic of fund clients is, I'm not going to pull out. I mean, I'm there with my investment for 10, 20, 30 years. These are long-term things. So the fact that there were a lot of people pulling out because of fear or whatever, it threw them off balance. And it seems like he didn't know how to react properly. No, they'll have to learn. If this just stays there, then nothing happens. If this turns into a crisis for BlackRock, then obviously it could affect the stock markets and it could be a whole other issue. But anyway, here's another image of what we're seeing of these flashes that they're reporting. Yes, those strange flashes that have appeared. In Tehran, it says. Numerous reports mention a bright, mysterious flash they say that has been observed inside Iran. It says, this could be related to electrical disturbances, but for now, well, it's not exactly clear what's happening. It could be maybe these substations which might be damaged or something like that, right? But in different parts of the capital, Tehran, these images have been appearing. It could be, right? It could be substations. It could be. In fact, you can't see well around. Do you notice? I mean, even though it's in the capital in that area, you can hardly see any lights, right? Some houses do have lights, but you don't see the typical Tehran, full of lights and all that. Well, that's something that also stands out today. And, well, a huge greeting, by the way, to Dante. Thank you so much, Dante. Greetings. Thank you for those memberships for the community. Thank you for sharing with the community, for being a member of the channel, or for gifting memberships. The truth is we really appreciate your support. Also a huge greeting to those who send us things out there. A super chat today. We received a super chat from Antonio Salazar. Awesome, Antonio.
Greetings, Antonio.
Big shout out, Antonio. Thank you so much for your support as well. And to the whole community that helps us, that makes this channel possible, that allows it to keep growing. We really appreciate your support. In a little while, we'll get to the comments, and later, well, we'll obviously keep reading everything you send us. Now, let's move on to another very important topic. In a moment, we'll return to what's happening with Iran. But there was something pending, which is two significant earthquakes. A moment ago, there was a strong earthquake over in Italy. According to reports, this earthquake was felt in Anacapri. According to what they're saying, it happened in those areas. Well, the south central area, right, near Naples, which is a region that always has seismic activity. Sometimes the earthquakes there are very strong in terms of magnitude, but also sometimes very deep. This time, the estimate is about 300 kilometers, 380 kilometers deep, which means there is less damage. It would have felt strong, yes, but that's all. In the areas near the epicenter and farther away, this type of earthquake is usually not felt much because of the depth. Now, another thing that stands out is that, well, so far at least, no damage has been reported, not in this earthquake. At least according to the information we have. We'll see if later on a little more information is reported about what has been happening. But Well, these are, let's say, earthquakes that in that area of Italy people are more or less used to. It's activity that happens, let's say, almost every year. No, what do you know? What have they said out there? Is there any report, well, important in that sense?
No, there are no reports of injuries or damage to infrastructure at the moment. And well, as you said, it's a very deep earthquake. And well, this is part of what people experience in Italy. Although there have been small earthquakes in other areas that have been felt more, according to reports, this one has gone unnoticed.
Well, according to the reports, it was an earthquake that happened today, March 10th. Well, for them, it's March 10th, by the way. It's already the 10th for them, but for us, it's still the 9th. It occurred at a depth. The last one was at 377 kilometers deep, so quite deep. The other earthquake happened in Japan. Let's go to this region of the world. But there are others. Well, there are several, but the most important one was 1. At first, they said it was a 6, but it ended up being a 559. This is the earthquake that was reported today. Well, for them, it was the 9th, which is today. They experienced this earthquake. An earthquake that occurred in an area where, very close to here, is the epicenter of the earthquake that generated a tsunami a few months ago. Remember, in this area, in the Pacific Ocean, there was an earthquake that generated a small tsunami in some region. Well, now this earthquake has occurred, a 5.9 earthquake in Otobi, Japan. That's more or less, it's already been several hours, about 10 hours or so since they started reporting it. It's an earthquake, I insist, that apparently didn't cause any damage. So, well, it seems to have been relatively mild, up until now. I don't know if you already have any other information, any updates.
I have a 6.1 earthquake in Japan.
Alright.
This caused 3 deaths and more than 300 injuries. This was in Osaka, where it was felt. I don't know if it's exactly the same one where Osaka is, just to get our bearings, or if it's a second earthquake. But anyway, the point is that this earthquake had a hypocenter at a depth of 13 kilometers, according to the Osaka prefecture, on the island of Honshu. And well, it's one of the impacts that people are experiencing today, yes. This seismic event was recorded on the island of Honshu, causing landslides, fires, and the interruption of the bullet train. Well, yes. Among the deceased, unfortunately, is a 9-year-old girl who was crushed by a wall. This happened suddenly.
Well, yes, as far as I know, it ended up being 5.9. In October here, it was estimated at 5.9, but it was updated to 6.1. Ah, look, not here, huh?
They haven't updated it here?
No, not here, but, well, it was 5.9, so for them, it's 6.1. Well, yes, no tsunami activity was reported, but there was some loss of effects.
Yes, it also caused building collapses and fires in different areas of Osaka and Katsuki, where several people were unfortunately trapped under the rubble.
From what I'm seeing, that's what's being reported. Well, it was felt in a large area, right? I mean, we're talking about it being felt in several regions. There have already been several earthquakes. Are you talking about that one?
Yes, they had 2 earthquakes.
They had 2. This is another.
It's the strong one.
This one, well, it's not, what's it called, very strong here, apparently, this one. And, well, this would already imply, at least for us, that it would have been on our March 8th, right? And for them, March 9th, and then this one that happens today, it's the one that's further north, right? So, well, because this one, yes. There is no report, at least up to now, as far as I know, there was no report of damage from this one. Well, seismic. Japan, as always. Another earthquake that happened and caught attention today is this one in this area. Turkey, they said 0.5, it ended up being 5.2. And there was another smaller earthquake in this same area, Turkey. Also, showing some movement, let's move on to other matters, to other important topics as well. In this area, let's see if we can show, in this area, on this map, shared by the Foreign Direct Investment, the Israel Defense Forces reportedly carried out another wave of attacks, this time focusing on a drone base. According to reports, at a drone base of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, it was attacked and destroyed. According to reports, Israel launched this coordinated wave targeting multiple objectives. This happened in Tehran, Isfahan, and another attack occurred in the south, though the location wasn't specified. One of the targets was this headquarters I've been showing. but unmanned aircraft were also used to attack their territory. Now, another thing that also draws attention is that there was a simultaneous attack between regions, which supposedly would be to maximize the impact or so that they don't go on the defensive, but instead attack at the same time in 3 different areas. This offensive is spreading tremendously.
Exactly, according to the Israeli army. They say that this area, because there are several buildings, was functioning as a logistical and operational center, and that they were storing drones there and organizing missions directed against Israel. Now, the drones, the famous Shahed, have become something very, very, very dangerous for the United States, for Israel, for all the neighboring countries, because besides being cheap, they are very difficult to intercept and they are also capable of overwhelming the defense. The current death toll in Iran is more than 1,200 people who have lost their lives since February 28.
Well, that's how things are, so let's move on to other important topics. Well, there is a report from the Office of Intelligence and Analysis, and they published this image, right? Where, according to them, they estimate that approximately 200 kilograms of uranium enriched to 60% remain in the tunnels of this complex. In other words, in the tunnels that have already been destroyed, there would be at least 200 kilograms of uranium there. This is what the Office of Intelligence and Analysis reports. Do they have information that all of it is buried there?
Exactly. Today, I'll say the brave Mr. Grossi, because wow, he comes out and assures that, well, 60% of the material he had mentioned that had this enrichment, the 60% is located in this area. We have to remember that in these last few days, in this week, well, more than a week of attacks, Israel has been hitting Isfahan very hard. He surely already had this information that there are a little over 200 kilos of this enriched material there. From the International Atomic Energy Agency, which says the reserves were mainly located in this city, and that part of the material stored in the other facilities may have been destroyed by the bombings. So in Isfahan, that's where there's the highest probability that it might still be possible to recover this nuclear material.
Well, it was 440 something kilos. Supposedly that's what would be left. But anyway, that's the detail. Now let's move on to another matter. Any country, says Iran, any country in the Gulf, any of the oil producing countries, let's say that dares, to kick the United States out. To kick out, I'm referring to their embassy. And all of this, they will let it pass through the Strait of Hormuz. So it means that yes, it's blocked. It's not blocked, if you get what I mean. One day they say no, it's not blocked, and the next day they say yes. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard stated that any Arab or European country that expels the ambassadors of Israel and the United States from its territory will have full authority and freedom to cross the Strait of Hormuz. This was said today, Monday, to Iran's state media. It's a message, obviously. Well, it's quite strange, isn't it? Yes.
Yes, tempting, right? Maybe for some countries, well, because if they get it, they can move freely through this area. And, well, there's a reaction from Trump about this where, well, obviously he got really upset about this comment that was made. Iran, the guard? Yes, exactly. About the possibility that if you remove the ambassadors, well, you can go through. And Trump warned that the Iranian regime will be hit 20 times harder if they block passage through the Strait of Hormuz. He said it just minutes after the comment from the Revolutionary Guard Corps was published. And he said, if Iran blocks the flow of oil through the strait, one of the most important energy corridors in the world, well, and if Iran causes it to stop, it will be hit by the United States 20 times harder than it has been so far. And they assure that they will eliminate easily destructible targets that will make it practically impossible for Iran to rebuild itself as a nation.
And well, the war is focused on the issue of energy, and in response to this, Vladimir Putin also had to react. Let's listen to him.
Let's go. The European Union countries, starting from April 25th, plan to impose additional restrictions on Russian liquefied natural gas and energy until they reach the point of imposing a total ban on these supplies in 2028. In this regard, I have already instructed the government to assess the possibility of stopping the supply of energy to the European market before they shut the door on us at home, and those volumes will be redirected to other markets that are more interesting and promising for us. At this moment, the market situation is developing. So, if we make this transition right now, if we focus on markets that really need an increase in supplies, we will be able to establish ourselves there in a stable way. In markets where there is reliable demand and where there are trustworthy long-term relationships. The states that are building long-term relationships with Russia, constructive relationships with Russia.
Well, that's part of the message that gives resources for. And the excessive options? Well, those who break with Israel with the United States will let them pass through here, says Vladimir Putin. That, well, he's gonna take his oil somewhere else where they'll accept it. But at the same time, Donald Trump gives a notice in which he tells Russia that he's going to give them permission, so to speak, to sell oil to certain countries. Let's go.
Basically, even lift the sanctions for Russia.
He's going to bring, supposedly he's going to lift some of the restrictions, he says. But it sounded like he's going to lift all the restrictions, honestly, he says meanwhile. And that can also get complicated because, look, this is tempting. Look, check out what's happening. I mean, he tells Russia that Russia needs to sell oil. It's urgent for them to sell oil and at a high price like it is right now, right? So he tells Russia, you'll be able to sell oil for as long as it lasts, as long as the war lasts.
Iran, hey, hey.
Imagine, I mean, for as long as the war lasts. I mean, no, not Iran. Russia is the one, hey, too. I mean, because really Iran too. You're right, because it says Russia is going to say, well, then let the war continue. Here are some weapons for you. Here's some help if you need it. Here's especially some intelligence. Here's a little push for you. Because, oh, look, they're already making up. Let me see what I can do so they don't make up. I mean, if you make it so that it's in Russia's interest for the war to continue, then the war is going to go on and on. And no, I mean, you say I mean, who in their right mind would give Russia the chance to make it a big business? This war is madness. How could anyone come up with something like that? Well, that's how it is. And what surprises me is that it seems like this still hasn't been understood, I think, in the United States. Because yes, obviously the media that analyze things in depth do mention it, but you don't see it in the analysis of the mainstream media, which in the end are the ones that really influence or put on more pressure. You say this is a perfect business, the business circle is complete, so with that you make sure the conflict can continue. So, well, this message has even become obsolete, the message that was given today, this one from Putin. But, well, it was interesting because in the end it was a reaction was expected. This is the reaction, but it only lasted 3 seconds because they already told him he can sell oil and he's going to be thrilled to do it. Now, there's another matter where they asked Trump about the end of the war. No, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. President. About Iran, did you call it an excursion? You said it would end soon. Do you think it will end this week?
But soon, I think soon.
All right, and about this?
Very soon. Look, everything they had is gone, including their leadership. In fact, they have 2 levels of leadership, and even, as has been proven, more than that, but the 2 levels of leadership are gone. Most people have never heard of the leaders they're talking about, so obviously it's been very, very powerful, very effective.
They've already started talking about another topic regarding Gaza, but, well, soon. But there's no date. That's basically it. It's soon, but there's no date. That's the...
Como en un año, dice.
Soon, well, yes, as long as there's no date, it's difficult. If they say it's in a month, that's not enough. Well, that's another thing, and, well, let's move on to other important matters.
Well, today another one of the threats made by Iran, because it was a day full of threats. Basically, it was that they are going to increase the power of their attacks, of the missiles, because they are going to increase the amount of explosives in the warheads of these missiles. And what they mentioned is at least 1 ton per missile. In addition, they stated that they will continue attacking United States targets in neighboring countries. Although we have seen attacks on hospitals, we have seen attacks on civilians. Well, this comment makes it more intense. You know that he is the commander of the aerospace force of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard. Well, he details this new military tactic against the United States and Israel.
Well, it's more of the same. That's always Iran's classic move, not to say it. Well, the next one is going to be more powerful, and the next one will be even more powerful. Who knows? I think what people fear most about Iran isn't so much these big missiles. I think what people fear most about Iran are the Ajed. In the Gulf, that's what people fear the most. Because they know that's sustainable, they know they can keep doing it over and over again. So of course the missiles are dangerous too, obviously like any missile, but what's dangerous in the long term and sustainable are the aged. And above all, if they're aimed at the Strait of Hormuz, then, well, you don't know where it's going. Intense events in Tehran don't mean the whole region is experiencing the same intensity. The fact that it's believed that maybe the next supreme leader would also be dead. If this is confirmed, which I insist still hasn't been confirmed, then this would be a tremendous twist in history. In fact, you'll understand it in this comment that Trump made, not since then, but he can't confirm it, so he still doesn't clarify it. By the way, what about Putin? The day they had a call in which they talked about Venezuela, they talked
Sí, no, me parece esto un chiste. About how they needed to stop the war in Iran, they need to stop the war in Ukraine. In fact, the Kremlin said it was a frank, constructive, and professional exchange. They said, "Thank you very much for the business you are giving me, that you are generating for me." And well, the call was tense at all times. There was a lot of tension. And well, Putin presented Trump with several options aimed at quickly solving the problem with Iran in a political and diplomatic way. He said, "Look, it could be this, or that." He gave him proposals that are not just Vladimir Putin's ideas. There have been conversations with more superpowers, even though it took quite a while to react. By the way, it was about 45 days before they communicated with Iran. And well, Trump has offered, for example, his own assessment regarding how the operation between Israel and the United States in Iran is going. He says that while military aggression continues, there's little room to discuss anything except a decisive response. That's the comment made today by the foreign minister, Esmail Baghali. If things were going well, they would have talked.
If they talked or not, I don't know. Anyway. By the way, here's the message from this guy, the one who just said that if they closed the Strait of Hormuz, the state would attack 20 times harder. Well, that's the message he posted on social media, and as always, he included a little video or something to show what he's talking about. It's not always this part of the messages he usually gives. Let's move on to other important matters. There's a meteorite. No, where did this appear?
In Germany, we already showed the image. I think it's the meteorite. You can see it there, but it wasn't really captured. Did you see how close it passed to the buildings?
Check behind the buildings. Back there. Look, there it goes. It's a meteorite. It looks like space junk because it's moving so slowly, but it really did pass very close.
Well, it passed very close. In Germany, one of the fragments went through the roof of a residential building in the city of Koblenz. And well, fortunately, there are no reports of injuries, but there is an impressive image.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I mean, what could have happened in a building? Just imagine what people must have thought at the time. They must have wondered, what's going on? They're not attacking us. I mean, it is.
He's trapped, and supposedly Germany is in range.
It's within range. It's within Iran's range. Anyway, let's move on to other important matters. That's...
Well, today the intelligence of the Netherlands issued an alert about cyber attacks. Here they talk about Russians, but there was also talk of Turkish cyber attacks, Turkish Iranian by other sources, against frequently used applications. I believe the attack mainly targets Europe and the United States. But anyway, we have to keep an eye on this issue. These are attacks against the Signal app, Pete Hesch's favorite, and WhatsApp all over the world. And in this way, fortunately, these attacks don't need malware, which means it would be easier to carry them out. And well, right now the attackers are using the famous phishing or social engineering, not malware or technical flaws in the apps. Phishing is the well-known one. I don't know if it's happened to you, but your aunt or grandma sends you a message like, click on this link and win something on WhatsApp. Well, those are the famous phishing scams, where it looks like, or you get messages as if they're from your cell phone company, or it looks like it's from your bank, and there's a link and you click on it, and well, that's when they hack you, right?
Yes, and maybe nothing happens at that moment, but they've already got the door open, and when they need to, they'll use your phone for whatever they want. And that's, well, part of the kind of attack they're carrying out exactly.
According to reports, the goal of this is to reach the military intelligence services called Military Intelligence and Security Service and the General Intelligence and Security Services, General Intelligence and Security Services, which indicate that the attacks aim to access accounts belonging to dignitaries, public officials, and military personnel. And the authorities also acknowledge that employees, for example, from the Dutch government, have already been targeted at this time or have been victims of attempts. In addition, the report indicates that other profiles may be targeted, may become of interest, certain profiles that are needed. The Russian or Turkish government, for example, Turkish, Dale, or Iranian, like journalists who could also be targets for these attacks.
And set yourself aside, something else about this. No, I just remembered right now. And we heard, I think we already heard it this afternoon. We heard about Aroga, don't you remember? Did I play it?
I don't remember you playing it.
But it's very interesting, and now that you bring it up several times, I don't think I played it, but I don't know, but it's very interesting. Let me mention it now, and let's listen to Aragon commenting, because it suggests, well, let's listen to it, and then you tell me what you understood, okay? Here it goes.
No one should make wrong calculations. We shouldn't fall into the trap of the Zionist massacre network that seeks to pit brothers against each other. We welcome the statements from our brothers in the Kurdish region of Iraq, and we sincerely believe that they will not fall into this game.
Let's see, what do you interpret there?
Well, he's assuring him not to divide, not to fight with Iran.
Turkey has been attacked twice with missiles from Iran, and the Turkish president comes out to defend Iran and criticize Israel. So, either he's really afraid of Iran, or he really has it in for Israel, right? Yeah, or maybe both, right? But the thing is, it really catches my attention. And I thought he was going to come out, like the one from Azerbaijan did. That he was going to come out and say, let's see. The Iranians, tone it down with your stuff, because if not, we're going to end up fighting, right? Basically, that's how he came out. Really, he came out tough. But Erdogan, who's usually very tough this time, now they're saying don't misinterpret it, kind of implying that maybe he was aiming for something else. Now, the information we have is that those kinds of missiles can be detected from the moment they're launched. Okay, so is it certain that both missiles were launched from Iran? Now they were launched from Iran, that's it. It's not a very big country, right? And he launched it, I don't know. Well, he's the one who brings up that topic. It's interesting the way. Now, another thing that also stands out, since we're in that area right next to it, let's say, is Syria.
No,
And, well, there are two things with the leader of Syria with this one. What's his name?
Al-Shara?
Al-Shara? No?
Al-Shara gets involved?
Who says... Well, who announces his support for this, and it's Joseph.
I think his name is Joseph Aoun.
Right? Who is the president of Lebanon and wants to dismantle Hezbollah? And he says, I'll help you, buddy. I'll help you disarm. Their enemies. Let's go. Hezbollah was the one who defended Bashar al-Assad.
And attempted suicide. Yes.
Yes. Do you remember the dictator that this Al-Shara overthrew, Bashar al-Assad? Well, he presented himself to languages. Who defended Bashar al-Assad? Who was his security guard? Hezbollah? who constantly passed or used to pass through Syria to deliver weapons to Hezbollah from Iran. Well, Hezbollah too. So now the Syrians are also against Hezbollah, and they tell the president, if you want, we'll help you disarm them. I mean, we have experience in that. That's very interesting. But it was also striking that they were asking England to send them military intelligence, 5 agents, military intelligence, 5 military intelligence, 6. I don't remember that they would send them to the president of Syria to protect him, because there have been several attempts to take his...
There have already been several. Actually, Turkey was requesting it. Yes, they asked for it a few days ago because, well, the attempts to take his life keep increasing. At the end of the day, one of his strongest enemies is also Iran.
It's Iran and it's Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. I mean, they have powerful enemies. Besides, surely there are some internally who don't agree.
There will be people who are not happy with the new relationship with the West.
Yes, I mean, he has opened up to the West. Because they know, well, that's where there could be business, right? But there are also extremist groups within that movement who, well, don't agree. So, well, it's a complicated situation. But anyway, let's move on to other important matters about what's happening in Australia.
Yes, do you remember? In the morning, Pepe told you that 5 girls from the soccer team, the ones who didn't sing the anthem, had managed to escape and were being kept in a safe house. The government of Australia, well, today, just a few moments ago, the president of Australia, well, granted asylum to these 5 members who managed to escape and who were visiting the country for this tournament. This announcement came after pressure from Iranian groups living in Australia and from President Donald Trump, so that the Australian government helps these women stay there because, well, it's said that they would face very harsh punishment if they return to their country.
Yes, well, honestly, good for these girls who managed to escape. But also, well, there are 5 players, but, well, there are many more who are going to return. And surely, well, it's going to be a tremendous punishment for these players. This is the team. This is the Iran national team. And look, the protest was very subtle. Neither they, nor the coach, nor the team staff, the Iran women's national soccer team, none of them sang the anthem. They all stayed silent. That was the protest, right? And what does an Iranian state television host do? He says they're traitors, that they're this, that they're that. So, did it scare them a lot? In fact, in the truck they're being taken in, one of them makes a sign. They make a sign for help. They don't ask for help there.
Well, the fans try to stop the truck, but there are police officers and they don't let them get close. But yes. It caused a lot of commotion to see how they were asking for help from the bus. There is an individual, a man who is always with the team, who, well, it is believed that he is the one in charge, appointed by the government of controlling them.
Whether there is already someone there?
Yes, there is already someone there taking care of her. These girls had to escape. No, it wasn't just I'm leaving. They had to come up with a plan to get away from these people who are, well, watching them, controlling them.
Controlling them, yes, above all, very good. It's really intense, obviously huge. Greetings, of course, to Dante. Thank you very much, Dante.
For that second big tip.
For that support, for those memberships, and also to Rulox.
Obviously, thank you so much, Rulox.
A huge shout out also to Rulox. Thank you so much.
120 memberships, 120 new members. Congratulations.
Hey, well, congratulations to the 120 members. And now I think it's worth it to do a live stream just for members, right? Like to make a special, just for members, a special for those who have a membership. So it doesn't sound so harsh.
It's just that it's very strange.
Greetings, Tapatia. How have you been, Miguel? Very good, Francisco, Arce, Ruben, Rulox, Panterita, Francisco, greetings, Wilkoff, how have you been? Very good, well, let's go to the comments. Yes? How have you all been? How have you been? Greetings to Robel, greetings to Saludos, who else is here? To Emma, to Mr. X. Greetings, Mr. X, how have you been? Great?
Greetings, how have you been, Mr. X? Greetings to Wilkoff, to Panterita, to Marcela, Riquelme. Ruben, Williams, and Rublox are also here. If it completely crashes, it's gone. Who knows what happened? Let's see if it shows up again.
Yeah, well, greetings to Alex.
Yeah, maybe I'm watching it delayed, right?
Maybe.
Yes, greetings to Miguel Alejandro too, says Tapatia. Those who don't comment are the lucky ones. Actually, YouTube decides, though I don't know what it's based on.
Based on what?
Who does it send the membership to?
Yes. Who knows? And yes, it is. So what's going on? Well,
Greetings to Enamorada, who is watching us from Barcelona.
greetings to Barcelona. How have you been, enamorada? Greetings. Also, Marcelo says he's listening to us. That's great. Good morning to you. Greetings, Emma. How have you been? What's up? He says, thanks and hugs to you too, Mr. X. Hope you're well, mister, he says.
A big mistake is ruining the present by remembering the past that no longer has a future. Ah, that's great.
Very good, very good. Let's see again.
Again, there are people who stay there. A big mistake is ruining the present by remembering a past that no longer has a future.
Hey, awesome. Yes. All right, moving forward, right? I mean, the past is gone, so let's live, right? Whatever comes our way. Cheers, awesome, Chavoruco says.
Thank you so much, Emma.
Who's not working, says Chavoruco. Greetings, Emma. Thank you so much. Yes, I saw it. Thank you very much, Emma. We already got the email, right? Thank you so much for your support and to the whole community that supports us through OXO. Thank you very much. It's also in the description.
And PayPal as well.
Yes.
Thank you so much to Blanca Ortiz. How are you, Blanca?
Greetings, Blanca.
And greetings also to Dorian Enix. He says, greetings, Tim.
Greetings, Fernando Gutierrez. How are things over there? Fernando, big greetings.
He says, is he going back to the future? Well, if you have a machine, maybe. And if you did it, but in real life, well, nothing. Honestly, it's still kind of complicated. Yes, he says, I killed you. It's a great phrase, Some people get stuck in the past thinking I could have done this, but didn't. And well...
No, just move forward. And that's it now.
Greetings to Roble. How are you, Roble?
Roble, how are you? Greetings to Cuba. The other day, Dario, a friend, sent me one of those videos that BBVA uploads where they interview people kind of like,
Yeah, like the ED Talks?
The ED Talks?
Yeah, no, they're really great.
And they invited a famous tennis player, man. I can't remember his name right now. One of those really famous tennis players. Today, he's probably around 50-something years old. Yeah, more or less. And, well, I didn't really follow his life after that. They became famous as tennis players, but you don't really know who they are or what they do. He had many problems, even went to jail because he couldn't settle down. I mean, after, just imagine, at 17 years old, she was already famous, super famous worldwide, 17 years old. So, like, she really lived a full-on fame. And you're a tennis player, and then, like, you never really figured out who you are, right? I mean, what are you going to do afterwards? Because, I mean, an athlete's fame only lasts for a certain period. If you don't manage your money, you end up with no cash, fame, or anything, right? So suddenly, well, he gives a really nice talk about how he rebuilt himself after being in prison, about, well, living through some really tough experiences here, and about, well, reconnecting with his future, not with his past anymore. I mean, his past was already behind him, right? And that's why this phrase really reminded me of that. It made me remember that Boris Baker, I think it was him.
Boris Baker, winner of the Slam from 91 to 96.
Let's see, they put Boris Baker and they put him, yes, it's him, Boris Baker, look him up, yes, Boris.
Here's the video, friend, yes.
Play it.
We'll learn it together.
Let's always learn together, Boris Baker.
It's a victory that was born from defeat, yes.
Yeah, the video is really cool. If you can, check it out.
The youngest to win Wimbledon? Yes.
17 years old, yeah. I mean, around there, he was really young. So, I mean, he started with everything, with absolutely everything. And, well, obviously, he had his difficulties later on. No, cheers, he says. Wise phrases. Look, here's another one. It says, whoever controls people's fear becomes the master of their souls. Machiavelli.
Putin.
And several more.
Several others, but he's the specialist. Plus, he can summon the nuclear souls at will.
It's a classic, but it loses impact since they keep losing.
Yes, they keep losing their effect.
It loses its effect too, but yes.
But right now, basically, he's like a fish in water, because one of the things we've talked about is that his strength is handling chaos. And what could be a more chaotic time than what we're living through right now?
That's how it is, says the German tennis player, exactly.
He says, Wico, I chat and then I exist.
That's really good.
That's really good.
Well, yeah, it's really interesting too, in that sense, what we're experiencing right now and what I'm mentioning it as like a small experience of suddenly our world. I mean, our world these days. It's very digital too. Because, well, you work, you talk to your friends, to your families, but suddenly it also depends on each person's job. But imagine our job doesn't involve being in front of people on the street, right? For example, if you work at a supermarket or restaurant, you're interacting with many people all the time, all the time, all the time, and all different people with different tastes, etc. But here, well, we get to know each other. We're like a big family and we kind of know each other. And so suddenly, now that we've been practicing some sports like that, suddenly I say, I mean, it's really necessary, especially if you work office jobs at home, to go out because you forget the feeling and the normal difficulties of socializing, of debating, of discussing with other people. Suddenly, it kind of shocked me a little. I thought, wow, I had already lost that really nice habit of discussing, of talking with people outside. Not from the circle, not from you, your kids, and 2 or 3 friends, 2 or 3 relatives. And that's it, it's even
Pues potencialmente peligroso porque
however you want to refer to us. We're a group, and here we see the whole community. But there are many YouTubers who are, well, for example, content creators or people who work in offices. I have several friends who work in offices at home who spend months working there and only see their families. And maybe someone else at their company. And that's it. There's nothing else. You kind of lose contact with day-to-day life, with what's normal. Let's say not going out and talking to people. No, I don't just mean going out to the supermarket. No, I mean really going out and spending time with someone, debating, chatting, discussing. No, I think, I don't know, you're going to experience things that maybe are, how can I say it? Like, well, different challenges are being experienced now, right? In that sense, I find that very interesting.
You have to honor me. I'm one of those people. Yes, I'm very friendly and I like to talk, to enjoy. I enjoy going out, but I also really like being at home.
Very good.
Greetings, Benedict Villegas.
How are you? Greetings.
Very good greetings to Francisco Arce Chavorruco, and I recommend the series Monarch Legacy of Monsters to you all.
We added it to the list the other day.
But well, the thing is we already have a really long list.
Yeah, the list is pretty long.
And don't release new series. I mean, give us a break. Release just new series for a whole year.
Which one was that we wrote down the other day? The one that's like, I don't know, something Nirvana.
Nirvana in a band?
No, but that's what it's called, Nirvana in the band.
Yes, I think so.
If you can, check it out. It's like a time travel story. Watch the trailer. I won't say more, just check it out. I thought it was going to be like a documentary, a biopic, a biographical movie about Nirvana. No, nothing like that, nothing like that. Check the trailer. I mean, that would have been cool too, yeah, but it's something completely different. Watch the trailer. It's about Nirvana, the band, or something similar.
Yeah, Nirvana in the band.
Nirvana in the band, and the trailer really got me excited. I mean,
because it has nothing to do with Nirvana?
It's unrelated to Nirvana, but strongly connected to Back to the Future. So to speak, with that, I say it all, but also something different. But it has more to do with Back to the Future than with Nirvana.
Greetings to Dieguito, and hello, dear news addicts. How have you been? How are you, Dieguito, says the dad here. Another joke for the grumpy ones. I just heard my son say his first words. How lovely to hear that. And he said, "Where have you been for the last 20 years, Dad?" That's how my dad is going to say it now.
Hey, he says. Christy replies that that's my story too. She says, my husband and I are remote, each in our own room. We don't see each other for hours. We don't have friends here, so it's just our craziness. Yeah, I mean, you kind of lose that, well, that connection because, yeah, you have a connection. I mean, we talk here, connection. With friends and family who already know you perfectly, with whom you can talk very comfortably, but suddenly, well, you forget. Or at least it happened to me recently that I was debating with someone about the topic of tennis, about playing or not playing, because I was living. And I stopped at one point because I started to look at myself and I said, well...
Why are you getting upset?
No, I'm not upset at all. In fact, I said maybe someone else might get upset. Because, well, I like to argue a lot, but with my friends, with you guys too, I mean, because there's trust, and you know me, and you know...
There's no trust with me, huh? No.
But I mean, I like to argue. But no, I'm not angry or anything. I'm just discussing. It's just a debate, right? And again, I stood up because I owed it to myself, and I said no. I said, I mean, loud. Other people in the world don't know me, or that I'm just joking. I'm just chatting for fun and messing around, that's all. Yeah, let's do it. I'm not sure what, since I was just watching. And this and me, I stood up and said, no, I mean, it's not my area. No, I'm just here, cooperating with the group, and I adapt. That's it. Not like that, but yeah, why? Because sometimes you forget, right? I mean, you forget that, well, yeah, they don't even know you. I mean, they know nothing about you, absolutely nothing. You're just there. Well, just a PPX, right? I mean, and here I'm also a PPX. But let's say at least they know me. I'm kind of among friends, right? And they know how I am. It's not like Pepe says, have you seen the series Dark Matter?
Matter, dark.
Yeah, Dark, yeah.
But dark matter, no, dark matter, no, dark matter, no.
If you mean the other one, it's gonna be different. But if you mean the German one, which is called Dark, yes, we watched it. By the way, I want to watch it again because recently, man, who mentioned it? An ex.
No, yes, a former military guy.
A former military guy, if I'm not mistaken, from an important area of the Pentagon. And since I have the document there, but no, not this one. We'll talk about it another day. Where this person says that what happens within the unidentified flying object topics and all these things, he says, it's closer to the series Dark than to what people imagine who have seen unidentified flying object movies and think that the little alien is coming and all that. He says, no, nothing like that. See, it has more to do with what happens in the series Dark. I love this series Dark. But I said, well, maybe I should watch it again. Maybe I should watch it again and try to observe it, because it's a topic about dimensions. Basically, it's something multidimensional, something like that.
Yes, but I'm not available.
Super strange. No, but I mean, yeah, you can see that in the trailer.
There's a trailer. He says, greetings to Panterita. Francisco says hi to you here, Francisco. Us, it says here. It's called guarophobia. No, not afraid to go out. That's right.
No, but we go out practically every day. I mean, that's not really the issue. Going out is not the same. Going out and socializing and greeting people and talking and everything. No, that's perfect. It's just the fact of having different groups that have nothing to do with your work, that have nothing to do with your family, and that you hang out with them. No, sometimes you just don't have them because there's not much time, so you have to watch out for that.
He says, Sergio, last time I watched an old video of Astrid Capon. It's in people, he says. Like 10 years ago with a rock band, I think it's from Mexico. It's a band in San Diego, and it was 13 years ago.
13 years ago, and this?
So have we gotten you pregnant?
No. So, I mean, was it?
I think I was about 29.
Yeah, more or less.
That's where I would have died.
Look, I mean, we were in our 20s when we started on YouTube, right? And well, if not at that time, I mean, we didn't imagine that we would be 100% dedicated, because back then we were also doing several things at the same time. It wasn't like we were just doing this, right? He says. I mean, we did have the idea because YouTube had told us in a meeting back in 2013 that this was serious business. I mean, because the question that many of us had in that meeting, it was called the Latin Aguar event or something like that. Do you remember?
Next YouTube
Latino, and the question from several of us who were already kind of dedicating ourselves to that, especially those of us who were older and already had a child. Like that, because there were several of us there, like Matumi, for example, and I don't remember who else was there among the older ones. And we asked YouTube, well, is this serious? Or does YouTube see this as a long-term thing? Or is it just a temporary project for Google? And then they told us that, well, no, they had plans for 20, 30 years. I mean, let's say they had very extensive plans. In fact, today, I mean, and that's why I was glad to see this image, in the sense that
es un proyecto.
It continues and keeps growing. Today, an organization shared it. I don't know if you have it or where I just found it, but they reported on how the views are going for 2026, right? And YouTube, well, Google is number 1, YouTube is number 2, and TikTok is around number 14 globally, right? Yeah, so I said, well, I mean, we're everywhere anyway, but I mean, it's interesting. They really have tried to stay relevant, because it's been, well, at least 20 years since they started in 2005, right? 2015, 2025, that's already 21 years, so they're already one of those. I mean, as projects, I'm referring to the platforms that have lasted, right? I mean, well, Facebook too, it's grown more or less.
I mean, besides, because Facebook kind of got stuck.
In 2000, it had a huge peak, and now it's kind of rebuilding itself, trying to, at least in the content area, because if you notice, there's hardly any. You can't see your friends' feed, they just keep showing you content. They seem to focus on that, but who knows if it'll work. They don't even have a proper search function. I mean, for them to have a really good search engine, that's something they're still missing, he says.
Dice,
Adulterers, no greetings.
no sé, porque,
Adults, a little older, he says. I blocked him for being narcissistic. What's up, Diego? How are you, Diego? Greetings, very good, Gabriel. How are you? How have you been? Greetings, very good. Who else is around?
Greetings to Panterita, to Blanca, to Barcelo. How are you?
Greetings.
That's on Apple Television Dark Matter, okay?
All right, it's another one we don't know.
Greetings to Gabriel Duran Castro, he says under the dictatorship. Greetings, Gabriel.
Greetings.
How are you? Greetings, Gabriel. Greetings, says Pantelita. Since they're saying there's another one or that there's another Interstellar.
Another one. How? I mean, another Interstellar series?
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, look.
Very beautiful Jennifer Connelly.
I think she's... Wow, I think I saw the trailer. This is kind of like Interstellar and kind of not like Interstellar. The other one, yes.
Inception?
Like Inception. At least in the picture, it seems that way. Yeah, right? Is it a series?
A series. Wow, another one for Zynga.
No, man, I mean, no.
No, don't leave us alone. Let them sleep. I'm sleeping like 5 hours a day.
Says Jason, a family man, abducted to another world where his life is not his life. His journey to return home takes him through worlds he could never have imagined.
I just remembered the movie. Do you remember the movie with Matt Damon and that actress who was in the Alien movies where they hear sounds? Oh, do you remember her, the English one?
Yeah, the redhead, right?
Well, no, she's not a redhead, but, well, no, she's not really blonde either. But anyway, her, you know, where they open doors, remember? Yeah, going through another place. She was attractive, and there are good movies. Why don't I pay that much? Because it was good, says someone else. Interstellar Comet, The Four Behind. No, well, we don't have time for that.
Right now?
4 of us went in, and you're already asking?
Okay, he's asking.
Is there one? He says, Roble, that's great. I escaped bad luck. Greetings, Roble. Greetings, Roble, says Tapatia. I sent you a photo on X, he says.
Let's see.
Maybe it's from a little bun, or does yesterday's march already work?
The community, remember, you can share your photos here in the community. Have you been sharing? I saw another one of these from New York. It was uploaded 2 weeks ago, but I hadn't seen it. From Omar. Greetings, Omar. That was also New York. We had already seen this one from Adazo. Let me look for the one from Tapatia.
Really pretty, she says. How cool. Greetings section, greetings to Aito. And if it wasn't Monster, yes, that too. The doors also apply. Who?
Monster? Yes.
Yes, let's see how much. The new concept greetings is like hoppers, which is like an avatar. No.
Well, yes.
Novak's dad says nobody. Let's see. It's a joke, but it's halfway. Let me look up. Let's see. Novak's dad. I don't see the other half.
Look, it's the photo that Tapatia shares of her friends. She says, let me read. I want to comment first. The comment says, it says photos of friends we've known for 65 years since Kili.
Since they were kids who knew each other.
Hey, they've known each other well since kindergarten. Greetings from Tapatia and to your friends, Sal.
Greetings.
Greetings to everyone. Such delicious food. Oh, how crazy.
30 years of friendship.
You can see there hibiscus water and I don't know what else, but I know. Like some meat and potatoes and things there. Very delicious. Greetings, Tapatia. Look, there are all the friends since kindergarten. But everything they've experienced, well, seeing all the changes in the world. And, well, I imagine that many went to live somewhere else, to come back, whatever you want. But they can see each other again. That's great.
He says, Darwin Blanco says, we are receiving bombings right now. We went 24 hours without anything. In fact, right now there are sirens in Bahrain.
For example, Bahrain. Greetings, Darwin. Take care, Darwin. Thank you for staying in touch with us. And if you have any message you want to send me on Telegram or directly, you can do it perfectly and I would really appreciate it. We hope you get well soon and hopefully things calm down. Greetings, Darwin, and take care, says Omar. Finally, it's warm now. Greetings, Omar. I hadn't seen that photo before. Thank you for sharing that last one. Greetings to Benedicto, Francisco, Arce, Marcela, and myself as a state. Very good.
Hey, they're not going, Dad. I don't see the first half of the joke. I don't know.
Be
The second one, I already told. Sorry, just a joke. Greetings. And today, finally, he already made a Louis face. Greetings over here.
By the way, it was raining here in Monterrey today.
Is Vince not in Abu Dhabi?
Yes, right? No, he's not in Iran.
No.
Darwin is in he's known in Abu Dhabi, but he's in those countries. Yes. So, well, Darwin has had the chance to see it up close in the sky. Yes.
Yes.
Mira, Sara, sí, exactamente.
Greetings, he says. Okay, Ofe, very good. Greetings. Marcela has been here. Greetings to Chile. And, well, to the whole community that's joining or watching later, thank you very much for saying goodbye. And thank you so much for being part of the community, for being here, for sharing, for chatting. Greetings.
We're on Telegram and WhatsApp, the friends notification, and we're also on Facebook. X e Insta.
Thanks so much for sharing your photos. Big hug. And, well, you can also do it there in the community area. You can send them through Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I don't check it that often, but we're also uploading content there, so, and, well, that's it. We'll see each other here early. We're here with the updates. And at night, we have a chat, hang out for a bit. A big hug. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
We interrupt your regular programming.
Thank you for tuning in. The truth is...
This is Pepe Live.
The truth is intense, the unusual is real. Here we analyze it. Global perspective. Don't miss out. Tune into the Pepe Live channel. Controlling the signal, Pepe Live, telling it like it is. Raw journalism, here it's respected. Turn on the alert, don't lose track until next time. Yes, sir.
We're taking attendance.
Subscribe. Pepe Live in the house.
Subscribe.